functionality is still the same. So let's see, and then to delete a breakpoint, if you want to get rid of one, you take it and drag it off, just like you would, say, a doc item. So turning breakpoints on, click on the left, click it once, makes them translucent. It just steps through them but leaves them. And then if you want to turn all of your breakpoints off and just run it, it's under, where are they? Under debug. I just remember the command key, which is Y, Command Y, which disables, it deactivates all of your breakpoints. It leaves them in place, but deactivates them so that it won't stop on them. This is another something that I use an awful lot, which is really, really helpful. It's setting a watch variable, which basically can tell the debugger anytime the variable changes value to stop, which is really, really handy, especially when you're doing multi-core, multi-threaded programming, to figure out why some variable is changing out from underneath you. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll start this thing running. We'll turn. Let me clear all the breakpoints. Here's a fast way to get rid of all the breakpoints. Let me turn a breakpoint on here. Let's run it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I want to know as soon as buffer. I want to know when this buffer changes. As soon as this buffer changes. So I right-click on it. I say watch. And this is giving you the index, watch 0. If you try and watch just regular buffer, I believe it's going to check to see if the pointer value changes, but we'll try it out and see what happens. Yes, no, so it's not, so that, there we go. Okay, so it does work. So you can watch whole memory areas, or you can watch single values within an array. This works for Objective-C classes and Objective-C instances. It slows your program down greatly because it has to evaluate this expression every single time it executes an instruction, but it's incredibly helpful. So we can see right here, this is the first place that we modify buffer, and it'll since this breakpoint is set to watch that value, every time buffer changes, it will break. The breakpoint will happen again. So here we've come back, we've returned back with the buffer, and it's changed value. It's changed value again, and you can see the values over on the left-hand side. So watch is a really, 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 really powerful feature. Two really hardcore tips that I'll leave you with. You can change variable values while the program is running, which can be really helpful. Let's say I wanted this to count down to, I meant for this to count down to 20, but I'm in the middle of this big long run. I know that I've made an error, but I want to check to make sure that this countdown will still work if I put in the value 20. So I'm going to go in here, and I can see my from instance variable here on the left. There's our stack on the far left. You can actually go in here and change the value. And so now we've set that variable's value to 20, and it will run just like I had called it with the value 20. It's a really, really powerful thing to be able to set and change variables as your program is running, especially when you've found a bug and it takes a long time for you to finally reach that bug. And then the other second hardcore trick is that you can actually change the program counter while your program's running. So let's say I don't want to execute this. Let's say I know that there's a problem with countdown, that I know that it's going to crash or raise an exception. So I can take it, I drag the little green triangle down here, and now I've changed your program counter. So we start running from here, and we never call countdown. Except we passed in a null to first word. You see, all these are all nulls, so we got so our assertion failed, which is exactly what we were expecting, what we were hoping for. The last thing that I wanted to show you that is actually that's actually really, really amazing, that makes Xcode Xcode 4 really handy for debugging, is when you're debugging multiple threads. So let's say I've got this, I have this function called kickoff threads, and all it does is just creates 10 threads, starts them running, and then calls them with this threaded function. If you don't know about threads or how threads work or other multi-core programming techniques, don't worry so much about the details here, but know that when you're running under Cocoa, you're already threaded, whether you're creating threads or not. The user interface is threaded differently than the system threads. So you're going to see multiple threads come up. I want to show you how Xcode handles that, which makes this really, really helpful. So I've got kickoff threads, which is going to start 10 instances of this threaded function. All this threaded function does is just print out its ID, count down from 100, and then be done, and then be finished. So what I can do is, here's where 10 threads are created. They'll be running in the background, and then when they're finished running, this pthread join function is called. It waits until those threads are finished. So what I'm going to do is just set a breakpoint even before we check for the threads to be finished, and I'm going to start running it. You'll see, get rid of that breakpoint and continue. So there's our 10 threads running. If we do the does everybody know the option triangle trick? So clicking option triangle in any of the Mac interface means fully expand this list. So normally it shows you one level down. Well, we can fully expand the list, and we can see every single one of our threads. We can see that we're stopped in thread number 1. If we set a breakpoint down here inside the actual threaded function, we can see that, okay, thread 3 actually got called first. So we can see right here, this is the thread that we're currently on. It tells you which thread you're stopped at. It's incredibly helpful. And you're going to see that your Objective-C, your Cocoa programs, will have at least 1 or 2 threads running. This shows you the power of being able to debug all of these. You can also click and see where what the state of every single one of these threads is. So thread number 7 is waiting to do this. It's waiting to print. Thread number 6 is waiting to print, and we can run this. And because we're running 10 threads without waiting for them to stop, we're going to get all kinds of funky output as it counts down from 100. It's 10 different threads trying to count down from 100. Questions? This is a lot of info. The best way to practice this is to just practice using the debugger. I highly, highly, highly recommend the practice of setting breakpoints as you create new functions. Single step through your functions at least once. If you step through it and you know that the behavior is correct, then you can either delete or disable the breakpoint. But I highly recommend that you get comfortable with the debugger. It is a total lifesaver, especially as you start doing multi-threaded and multi-core stuff. Cool.
And the best way to do that is if you get an error when you run your program, don't ask us first. try to figure out and understand why you're getting the error and what the error means, and you can use the debugger to do that. A lot of that.
Put tons of assertions in. Use watch variables. Use breakpoints. Oh, one other thing, forgot to tell you. Sorry. You can also set conditions on your breakpoints. So let's say we want our countdown to complete at least 5 revolutions before it stops. So if we just had a breakpoint here, let me get rid of this call to kick off threads so that we don't do a bajillion. We don't have a bajillion things going on at the same time. So if we just have a breakpoint here, then every single time it runs this loop, it's going to stop at this breakpoint. Every single time. Let's see, we finally made it down to 4 and then to 3. And then, okay, so that's like that's not going to cut it, right? So here's what you can do. if you right click on the breakpoint, you do edit breakpoint, and you can set a condition for that breakpoint. So we want to say, let's say when index is equal to 5 is when we want to stop. You can also say ignore this breakpoint 4 or 5 times and then break, which is pretty amazing. You can add actions like spit things out to the log, play a sound, which is actually way more helpful than it might first seem. And then you can have it say do a bunch of actions and then continue on and not stop and drop you in the drop you into the debugger. So here we are in the debugger. We run it. We've got our condition set on our breakpoint, and stops when index is 5. Continue on, and we're done. Cool. All right. So if there's questions about if you're trying out some of these techniques and there's differences with Xcode 3, I'd be happy to show you how they translate. They're very similar. It's just the UI has a lot more of it's been integrated in Xcode 4. Sometimes it's a little bit separate.